welcome in this new video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the underrated weapons in battlebay history. These are weapons that are rarely used or barely used, or just not getting enough appreciation by the community. And yeah, in today's video, I just also explain how I feel about these weapons and what I think should be done about them in order to make them either more successful or other things. Of course, we all know Rovio is not gonna do anything about it, so yeah. Practically again a useless video, but I thought that, yeah, maybe you guys could use some entertainment because I haven't been uploading in quite some time, as you guys know. So I get back on schedule. So anyways, let's get into this. At number 5, we have the standard cannon. The standard cannon is a solid weapon in my opinion. However, I think it does need some sort of buff, especially because it has when it's maxed out, it has literally 3 seconds cooldown, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think any weapon in battlebay has lower cooldown than the standard cannon. It's ridiculous. When this weapon is maxed, literally 3 seconds cooldown. What the fuck? However, the thing with it is, like, in battlebay, you don't want to have low cooldown weapons. So that's the problem here. You don't want that because you will put yourself in a disadvantage. Because, like, yeah, you can have a blast cannon instead, and it deals far more damage. So what Rovio should do is make it have like a 6 seconds cooldown, 6.5 seconds cooldown, and that should do the job, and people should use it probably more, give it the damage buff. And yeah, that is how I think about the standard cannon. It can also slow people. It literally slows people with a specific perk. Unfortunately, that doesn't boost torpedo damage and mortar damage. If that did, then yeah, this probably would have been one of the most broken weapons in the entire game. But even right now, it's still like a very good weapon. Like, you can pair it with a Berta, and the Berta then can probably hit people because, yeah, we all know Berta has like a very slow drop rate, the slowest drop rate out of all the mortars. So yeah, I think it can be a solid pick, to be honest, but only in like very high payload uh guns. Like, you have, for instance, railgun spam, and then you can equip a standard cannon to keep firing that thing. But then again, um standard cannon seriously needs a buff. Anyways, number 4, we have the long range mortar. And I know what some people are thinking. What? Seriously? Yeah, the long range mortar, I barely see it in matches, kinda. It is a pretty rare pick. I don't know what the issue is with that, but what I do know is that there is nothing too much wrong with this weapon. But I will say, let's give it a speed increase so that you can land it easier on long range. This should be the fastest dropping mortar in the entire game. It should have the fastest shell to drop, and I think it will then get much more uses. And I'm not saying buff the speed by an insane amount, no, but I think that it should have a talent tree that boosts its speed also a little bit. This is just how I think about that, but the way it is currently, I never used really long range mortar, but if one of you guys use it, let me know in the comments down below. I do respect people that use the long range mortar, as it seems to be like a pretty fun weapon in my opinion because it has a ridiculous range uh, and AoE damage, which all mortars have, of course. But yeah, I definitely think it should get a buff, some sort of buff, because elsewhere, yeah, we're not gonna get anywhere. And I do like to see how people think about the long range mortar in the comments down below, so let me know about that. Anyways, so that is my idea about the long range mortar. I hope you guys like that one. And we are soon going on to number 3. And you guys will be shocked. We have the standard torpedo. That's right. The standard torpedo. This is a very good weapon for beginners because they can learn how to use the torpedoes. But unfortunately, in high end, this weapon is a absolute no go. I wish that was kind of different because it could have had some potential in this community. Like, yeah, all these standard weapons are just underwhelming. Normal weapons either replaces them because of their abilities and because they have outstanding things versus the standard weapons. They are just normal weapons and they don't have anything unique, and that's what matters here. That's the reason why they're outclassed. And yeah, what is my idea about the standard torpedo? What should be done about it? Well, give it bigger area of effect damage. Maybe that could do something. And increase the cooldown by a small bit. Increase the damage and make it a little bit more arguable against the way superior Swift Torpedo. Because Swift Torpedo just completely replaces standard torpedo. I'm sorry, but that is just the truth. 7 seconds cooldown versus 5 seconds cooldown. You are not always going to fire that standard torpedo. And that's why Swift Torpedo is just way better. For 2 seconds longer wait time and way more damage, way more speed. That is just too much. It's just too much. So that is how I think about the standard torpedo. Of course, it isn't the worst item here. One of the worst items will be coming soon here, and yeah, this is just my ideas about the standard torpedo. So let's move on to the next weapon. We have the standard mortar. Oh man, where do I start with? This is probably one of the worst weapons in entire existence. To be honest, I think that even the standard torpedo is better than the standard mortar. Um, and first, I'm gonna explain that theory to you. The reason I think this is because standard mortar has only a few seconds lower cooldown than the other mortars. And it's literally 10 seconds at the beginning. So then you might as well consider using a ballpark mortar with far better blast radius, far more kill ratio, and be way more successful, because the problem with standard mortar is its small blast radius, and that's the only thing that actually held it back from being good. It's a terrible weapon. And literally, I'm not joking here. You can literally upgrade a full level turbo, rare, and just sail through that thing and you won't get hit because you're too fast. So with that being said, standard mortar is practically one of the worst weapons in entire existence. I just hope that people understand this. So if you want to learn mortars, please don't use this worst mortar in this game. Thank you for your time there. Um, and yeah, what could be done about this weapon? To be honest, I think that it should get a faster drop rate, just like the long range mortar, but I literally don't know. Maybe give it even less cooldown, make it like 7.5 seconds. I don't know. You tell me. Anyways, let's head on to number one. But before we go to number one, I want to give a few examples of weapons that are also underrated. Special mentions here. Special mention number one is the triple torpedo. Yes, that's right. I will tell some lore about this weapon. This used to be one of the best weapons out there, but unfortunately that changed. How did that change? Well, guess what? Rovio nerfed it so hard that it became handicapped. Besides, what type of marine would fire their torpedo in an arc? They would fire it straight. So they could have just increased the spread by a little bit, and that will do enough. Anyways, I think that it's so sad that Triple Torpedo got this much wasted potential. It could have been still a very good weapon, but instead, that's not the case anymore. They nerfed it so hard. I just wish that they also buffed it at the same time for something, because almost no one is using Triple Torpedo. Out of everything, this one gets used probably one of the least. It's either Swiss Torpedo or the big torpedo that gets used a lot. Special mention number two is the sniper cannon. Now, this is one of my favorite cannons. It has good range, solid damage, and furthermore, it's a balanced weapon. It's both effective at close range and long range, a multi purpose cannon. And it's better than Blast on long range, but if you are skilled with Blast, then don't consider a sniper cannon. The reason why is because Blast completely replaces the sniper cannon. And I think that sniper needs some sort of buff, and what absolutely makes no sense is that the grenade launcher has more crit chance than the freaking sniper cannon. This doesn't make any sense. Buff the sniper cannon to 65% crit max. And then I mean crit chance, of course. That way it should revive the sniper cannon quite a bit, and people should play it better. And furthermore, make the event perks differently. Make it with crit chance. I don't even understand what Rovio was doing when they added the crit perks for the sniper cannon. They know that sniper relies on crit chance perks, And then they release legendary perks that has nothing to do with crit chance. Wow. Wow. I don't know what Rovio's IQ is, but they are so stupid, to be honest. Anyways, on special mention number 3 is the Swift Torpedo on Interceptor. Yes, that's right. This is very rare. You don't see much torpedoes on Interceptor, and here you could see me play a torpedo on Interceptor, and you know, at some points, in some moments, if you know how to position, this can be a really good pick. But of course, you need to know what you're doing, and I also screwed up so now and then in this event, but here I didn't. So that's why I wanted to show you that. Anyways, let's head on to number 1, and this is true. The number 1 most useless weapon that definitely deserves a buff, and some of you may know it, it's the multi-missile. Of course, this is my opinion about it. But furthermore, I do think it definitely deserves a buff. It should be a 1 slot point weapon. It should get a special buff that it has more AoE damage, that it's more accurate but deals less damage, and has a bit longer cooldown. With this, I'm sure it will get interesting. Of course, this is my idea about the missile launcher. But the multi-missile is just like, it's so underwhelming. And this is my idea actually about the multi-missile, not the normal missile. But for now, the normal missile has been replaced the multi-missile for ages, and Rovio is doing nothing about that. This has been going for ages, and I'm wondering, what are they thinking? What do they think they're doing? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, I'm gonna cut the video probably here. I want to thank you all so much for watching this. I hope this was enjoyable, and I'm gonna make a second video soon enough. Goodbye and have a nice day. Adios.